Greetings, everyone. This is Matt Fiello, a technical marketing engineer with the Compute Systems product group of Cisco. And I'm excited to do this video today of the brand new Intersight Private Appliance. So this is the long-awaited air gap version of the private appliance. Absolutely requires no connectivity, or actually has zero connectivity back to the SaaS cloud. And we've had a lot of customers desire this based on their security requirements, especially on the government DoD side of the house. So I'm going to talk to you today about standing this guy up, doing an install, doing the licensing, which presents a few quirks compared to the virtual appliance that's already been out there that's tethered back to Cisco. And we're going to touch on troubleshooting just a little bit. I'll show you how you can get into the CLI for it, and some tools there. Touched on licensing. We're going to claim this server here. I'll actually unclaim this from one private appliance. I'll claim it up to the other that we install. And what else? Let's also talk about the proper unclaiming of a device. How you should do that from a best practice standpoint. Also, if you decide to deploy maybe a trial of this, and maybe you're going to deploy another one, and how do you give back the licenses? So not only the registration of the licensing to get you up and running, but also maybe the deregistration of licenses, how to give those licenses back to your account. So we're going to touch on many things. I hope you're going to find this to flow well, and I hope you'll learn a few things, and hope to reach all audiences, not only the experts out there, but also, more importantly, in some cases, the people that maybe need a little extra help because they haven't been introduced to some of these concepts before. So with that, thank you, and let's move on to the next section. Okay, so we're back with moving forward with the prep for install for the Intersight Private Appliance, and I just want to touch briefly on how important it is to configure your DNS beforehand. It's really a critical operation for you to have a successful experience in install and use of the private appliance. You can't actually hit the private appliance with an IP address. You have to have DNS configured successfully. And based on history, most of the folks that have problems with the install of the virtual appliance, its predecessor, has been DNS related. So let's just touch on a few critical things here. Certainly, you're going to want to establish a good A record. Build an A record in your Active Directory and your DNS. Here's an example of one. Got my IP address masked out, of course. Also, the all-important associated pointer record, because we want to be able to do reverse lookups within DNS. And then, this is pretty much common sense. Needing this is a little bit of a caveat. We also require you to have an alias, a CNAME. And so whatever you choose for the parent host name, you're going to put a DC dash and then that parent host name. So you're going to have your FQDN here as your A record, and then you'll have an FQDN for the CNAME, the alias, as DC dash. So just make sure that you have this well established before installing the private appliance. And we'll move on now to the next section. Okay, moving along. Now we're at the point where we're going to go ahead and download the bootstrap OVA. So you do have to go to software.cisco.com, log in with your CCO account, and you're going to be able to download this OVA. This OVA is in fact a bootstrap OVA. So it can take on more than one form, or what we call a persona. So we're going to deploy the OVA first, and then once we've started the OVA, the virtual machine, we're going to tell it that we want to configure it as a private appliance. And then ultimately, we have to create a private client's account at a special site, Intersight site, to get access to a much larger file, a binary, that we're going to download, okay, and then upload to the OVA to actually build out that cloud environment inside of the private appliance. So we'll walk you through that. Now, I'm actually out at software.cisco.com. You're going to log in, and you can do a search on Intersight, and you're going to find the Intersight appliance OVA very quickly. It's version 148, so it was just released. That's the only version that you'll find out there. Okay. And you're going to want to go ahead and download that. And then, of course, you need to deploy that in your vCenter environment. So with that, we're going to stop here, and we'll move on to the next section. Okay, moving along, we are now in our vCenter environment, and we're getting ready to deploy the OVF template, the OVA that we downloaded from software.cisco.com. And you can hit a URL and actually inject it that way, of course, or a local file, which I actually have here on my desktop. So there's the OVA that I need. And this is too simple for most folks, but let's go ahead and walk through this anyway. So give it a friendly name. Click next. Decide where we're going to install it. Okay, so the only reason I'm even showing this part is because you have to make a decision here on what size of deployment that you want to install, and it's going to default to the small. So this is good for 2,000 servers, a maximum of 2,000 servers. If you go to the medium here, it will be actually supporting up to 5,000 servers, which is the most we support currently with the private appliance or the virtual appliance. You don't want to use this unless you're doing the Intersight Assist, which is a VM, an appliance that helps Intersight SaaS integrate with some third-party solutions such as vCenter or Pure Storage are two examples. Okay, so we're not going to do this tiny. Either use small or medium, and we're going to pick small. Pick our storage here. I leave the defaults. Select our network. Go ahead and fill in, either use DHCP if you're leveraging that in your environment, or a static address. This is my lab, so I'm going to go ahead and do a static IP here. DNS critically important, so make sure you get that right. Obviously, the password that you'll use to log in with the admin account to the appliance. Okay. All right, so just an example of deploying the OVF template, and I'm actually not going to do this because I actually have this already deployed, so we'll cancel out of that. Okay, so to do a refresh. Okay, so this is the appliance that we're actually going to leverage, and this is the deployed OVA at this point, and we'll come back and resume the video. Okay, so let's go ahead and proceed. After you deploy the OVA, you're of course going to want to power that on, and it's recommended you wait about 10 to 15 minutes to let that OVA fully come up and be powered on. And then you're going to navigate to basically a URL, http:// your fully qualified domain name that you've set up within DNS for the appliance. And having done that, and I actually apologize to you because I've advanced forward one screen. So this is not the first screen that you'll see. You're going to see basically a screen with three options. One option is going to be the virtual appliance that has been there, and then the next it will be the private virtual appliance, and of course that's the option that we want. So you're going to want to select that radio button and proceed forward, advance forward with next to get to this screen. And then the third option is for Intersight Assist. So really there's three different flavors or three different configurations you could set up the appliance as, personas as we call it, and you're going to want to select the private virtual appliance and then get to the screen here. Now this screen here has a URL here, and this URL is necessary for you to hit this on an internet accessible machine, so you can download the all-important binary. Really, the binary for the private appliance builds out the private appliance. It's the persona. Okay, so it's the thing that converts that virtual machine into your own private instance of the SaaS Intersight. Okay, and of course, with this appliance here, the private appliance, it's completely air-gapped. Okay, so but you do have to go to an internet accessible machine to be able to download that binary. Okay, so let's go ahead and click over. Okay, so you're going to get to this splash screen. It's going to have you read the terms and conditions here, accept, click next. And here is where it wants you to create a private appliance account name. Okay, so you might not have done this before, but pick an account name. It has to be unique. And we're going to need the registration token. So this is where we also have to go to the software licensing portal on an internet accessible machine, okay, and be able to do that. So if we go here to the licensing, okay, I've already logged into my licensing, smart licensing account. I've already chosen my correct virtual account because I have more than one, but I got one here for the private appliance. Okay, and I'm going to need this this token here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on here, and I can reuse these multiple times. So that's why I'm using an existing one. You might have to create a new token, okay, if this is your first time. And let's go back to the to this URL, and we're going to paste that in and click create. Now this is going to take a few minutes, so give it some time. Okay, so you can see that we have our private account successfully created. Go ahead and click the tab here, go to Intersight. Now this is going to take us to a special software download part of Intersight, and as you can see, we have this binary 148, which matches the OVA, to go ahead and download. You can see that it's almost 7.5 gigs. Okay, so plan accordingly, and we're going to go ahead and then download that. Okay, with the download button here. Now I've already got this staged and downloaded already, so I just wanted to, the purpose of this was just to show you kind of how to do this, how to create the private account, where to go, how to download it, etc. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back to our private appliance. And let's go ahead and assume that we have that file downloaded. Let's go ahead and click Browse. And there's that binary. Click Next. Okay, so once again, we're going to wait here several minutes while that binary file is being uploaded. It's clicking along here pretty good, so it won't take too long. Just want to stress again that, you know, this air gap appliance is completely separate from SaaS Cloud. Okay, so but you are going to have to go to some internet accessible desktop to be able to to interact with the licensing portal and also to get this binary file. Okay, so from past experience, it's going to just stay here briefly on 100%, and then it'll proceed forward with the installation. So just again, be patient. Okay, so as you can see, we've progressed now. The installation is in progress. From this point forward, it's going to take roughly 90 minutes to perform all of the installation tasks, build out all the microservices, the web engine, statistics and the analytics that go into this, the Kubernetes, lots of things happening to build out basically a cloud within this virtual appliance. Okay, we're progressing along. As you can see, we've got quite a few steps already completed here. This is about half of what the list will end up being. So just a status check here to let you see the steps progressing. Okay, so while we're waiting the 90 minutes for that installation to complete, I thought I'd show you a little bit of the troubleshooting. Once you deploy the OVA and you've started it up, you can actually get a little under the covers with the CLI So you can go ahead and secure shell to admin at the IP address or fully qualified domain name. And just want to point out that it is in fact admin. The prior virtual appliance used to have a diag username to get into this area of the CLI. That has been recently changed from diag to admin. And certainly all the private appliance OVAs will be using admin. So go ahead and do that. Provide the installation password. Okay, so you're going to see a menu here, and you've got a diagnostics area here that you can ping a host or do a trace route. This is really helpful here. Run connectivity test. You can show from a configuration standpoint, you can show your current network configuration, restart services, restart the actual reboot the virtual appliance itself down here under maintenance. Okay, so good stuff here. Let's go ahead and show the network configuration. Okay, so here's my entire network configuration as I set it up. And then I'm going to go ahead and run the connectivity test. This is a really good thing. So something easy that you can do if you're having issues before you think about calling TAC, maybe do this because this is probably the first thing TAC's going to have you do. All right, so go ahead and run the connectivity test. It's about 6 or 7 different tests, testing your IP and your DNS configuration, gateway, reverse lookup, all that stuff. Okay, so just a good thing to do. Should get OKs for all the tests that are run. It's a script. Okay, so we've completed the test. We're all OKs on the results as expected. And now I'm just going to go ahead and log out of this, just a period. And we're now logged out. Okay, so we'll pause here again, and we'll pick it up towards the end of the installation. Okay, just a brief resume here. Just want to make a comment here. The starting services takes some time, so just again, a plea for being patient. Just let this thing crank. Can't rush the hands of time here, and just be patient. The starting services, it stays on this for quite some time. Okay, we're back, and we're going to complete the installation here. It's been completed, and then we're going to move on to licensing the private appliance. So one way you're going to figure out that you've completed the installation after about 90 minutes again is your warning here for the cert. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and accept that. And you should see the splash screen sign in for Intersight. So we'll go ahead and sign in with admin and our password that we established during install. Okay, and we're going right straight to automatically the license screen, reserve a license. Okay, so it says get your reservation code and use it in Smart Licensing, the Smart Licensing Manager to generate an authentic authorization code. Excuse me. Okay, so we got to get the reservation code. We can copy it to clipboard, or we can download it and upload it. I just suggest copying it to clipboard. Make sure it successfully does that. There's a green banner here. We're going to go to a machine that has access to Smart Licensing, and then we're going to generate a reservation, a license reservation. So if we actually come back over here to our Smart Licensing portal, it looks like let me refresh this screen here since it's been a little while. Okay, make sure you're in the right virtual account. Okay, so here's my virtual appliance here. And let me go to my product instances. Actually, no, I'm going to go to my licenses. And I'm going to do a reservation. Okay, so here's where I paste in that reservation code. Okay, so the thing here is once you've done this, click outside of the blue box here, and you can see once I've done that, the next button becomes enabled. Okay, so now it wants me to select the licenses that I want to assign to that appliance, and of course that's based on the licenses that you've purchased and you have in your smart account. So I've got a bunch of different types. I've got Essentials, Advantage, and Premier. I'm going to go ahead and do 20 of the Advantage licenses. I've got 100 out there, actually 180. So again, the blue box, click outside the blue box and you can see that it updates and the next button becomes enabled. So let's go ahead and review and confirm and generate an authorization code. All right, voila, there it is. So now we can go ahead and copy this to clipboard. Again, you'll see a green banner pop up. Make sure that happens. And I'm just going to leave that open for now, but I'm going to go ahead and pop back here to my Intersight Private Virtual Appliance, and I'm going to paste that in and click install. Okay, so this will take a couple minutes, as the message says. Okay, so now we have the authentication code is installed successfully, and we see that the finish button down here in the bottom right is in fact enabled. So let's go ahead and click finish. Okay, so now we can see that we have a welcome kind of screen here. You're welcome to take the tour, take a site tour, do any of these things, which are kind of guided workflows to help you do these different things. Okay, click close here, and we've had a successful installation and a successful licensing of the product of the Intersight Virtual Private Appliance. If we go here and we go to licensing, okay. We don't really have anything yet added or claimed here. Okay, so this will update accordingly as we claim devices there to the private appliance. But what I did want to show you is, let's go to settings, account details right at the front there. So you can see that we have the all-important account ID, and that is what, it's pretty small there, but that's a Delta 89, the last 4 digits. Okay, and if we come back here to the Smart Licensing portal, and let's go ahead and do product instances. We can see that we have a Delta 89. It's matching up. We've got reserve licenses for that. Okay, there's the 20 that we requested. So just just showing you that it does match up. Okay, and let's go back to the private appliance. And we'll resume with another section that kind of does a little bit of claiming exercises and show you a few more things. Okay, so you've seen how we've deployed the OVA and we've downloaded the binary persona file for the private appliance, how we uploaded that, completed the installation, got into the private appliance, properly licensed it. So now I'm going to show you just as a final module here, just a little bit of exercises on how we claim and unclaim and how you can deregister a license if you find yourself needing to do that, being that you might deploy one or more of these virtual private appliances. Okay, so just good information to know. And this is the latest. This is the latest private appliance that I deployed. And of course, we haven't claimed anything here yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to a previous private appliance that I deployed. Go to the Devices tab. Okay, so this is where you would claim a device to Intersight private appliance, but it's also where you unclaim. Okay, so this is the clean way of doing it. Now, bear in mind, you can, in fact, if we go to the, let's go to the CIMC of the server. Okay, so if we go into the IMC of the server itself, we can go to admin and we go to device connector. Okay, and we can see that we are properly claimed up to this particular instance of the appliance. Now you can see that you can unclaim from the account here. The best practice is actually to do it from the Intersight appliance side of the house. So go there first, and then if necessary, if you have an anomaly or something, fall back to this as a second approach. That's the only thing I wanted to show you here. So let's go ahead and put that down. Let's go back to our private appliance. Let's put this down. Okay, so this is the previously deployed private appliance where that C220 standalone was claimed. Let's go ahead and unclaim that. So it's a little, the trash can icon there. Okay. We've done that. We've unclaimed the device. Okay. Now let's go over to our new private appliance. And actually, while that's kind of cleaning up, what I'm going to do is kind of go back to the licensing portal. And let's grab something here. Let's go on the previous appliance here. Let's go to settings and account details. You can see we have 999-281 is the account ID. Okay, so let's go to the licensing portal. I'm in my virtual account, private appliance virtual account. Okay, so 999-281. Here's that guy right here. Okay, and he's got licenses reserved. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to remove this guy. Okay, now it's asking me, okay, to remove this product instance. Okay, I gotta generate a reservation code. Okay, so what we'll have to do here is go back to the private appliance. Okay, let's go to licensing. Okay, so this is that previously installed private appliance, not the latest one that we just installed, the previous one, where that C220 was claimed. Okay, so we've unclaimed the C220. We've kind of got this guy standing free and clear. Okay, but I want to give up the licenses. I don't wish to have this guy anymore. Perhaps I'm going to delete this guy. Okay, so you can see in the licensing tab there's a return license. Okay, and it's going to ask you to walk through this. Now this is something that you can't undo, so that's why the warning. Okay, this appliance license will be deregistered. Okay, so go ahead and click generate, and this will take a minute or two, but we're going to generate a code that we're going to go back to the license portal and plug in. Just once again, I want to remind everybody, while it takes a few minutes to generate these codes, it's not reaching out anywhere on the web or trying to. Okay, please keep in mind, it's completely air-gapped appliance. It's having to generate these codes within. Okay, and we've successfully generated a return code. Okay, so now we can copy that to the clipboard, and again, we get the green banner, which is nice. We can click close. We can go back to our portal. We can paste in that return code. And it says remove product instance. Let's go ahead and do that. And we've successfully removed it. Okay, so just wanted to go over kind of the way that you would return licenses back to your account. Okay, in case you have to install another appliance, or you want to salvage licenses from an older appliance to a new appliance, etc. Okay, so let's put this down, and this guy is pretty much unlicensed at this point, and I can shut down this guy. I can delete him, and now we'll go forward with our new appliance. So once we're in the new appliance here, what I'm going to do is actually go and bring up that IMC. Okay, and I can see here I've got an IP address. I'm going to go ahead and claim this guy. So let's go ahead and go to Devices tab. And claim a new device. Okay, it's not a Fabric Interconnect. It's a IMC for standalone. Plug in the IP address, username, password. And click claim. Okay, got a warm fuzzy there. We can go see the request. You can click on that request and get more details. Okay, it's taking just a few minutes here, so be patient. Okay, so we have a successful claim now. So let's go ahead and go back to the servers tab here and click on the server. And it just takes, again, a few minutes for it to populate in, collect all the inventory. We can see that we have a successful claim, successful inventory here. We also, based on our licensing tier level, we have lots of capabilities here. Okay, we have basically it's not turned on yet, so what we actually need to do, and I jumped ahead, so apologies there. Let's go back to the servers tab. Let's set the licensing tier. So let's go ahead and select that server, and in the pull down, set license tier. Okay, so since I reserved advantage level licenses, I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to set my tier accordingly. So now when I go into this server, and I go to the pull downs, and I have lots of capabilities here. But you can do the install operating systems. You can do upgrade firmware, of course. So lots of things that you can do. Just wanted to show you this. We got a healthy server, so we've got a successful deployment, installation of the private appliance, successful licensing, successful claim, shared a little bit about troubleshooting with the CLI, showed you how to deregister licenses, how to unclaim properly. So hope you find this informative, and hopefully you'll have smooth running in your own personal attempts to deploy the private appliance. So thank you. Appreciate it. You have a good day. Bye.